Hello there, football fans. Welcome to our Footy Prime getaway into the countryside, featuring Daniel Wong with lettuce, bacon, and tomatoes. James Sharman, there's JC Kasem, and there, back from her little getaway herself to the countryside, Amy Dubs Walsh. Hello, Amy. Welcome back.
Hello, David. How are you?
Like I'm doing wonderful.
Yeah.
No, that'd be more like this. The natural wonger in his habitat in the countryside seeks out his mate, and upon seeing her, launches himself like a gazelle horned up. That'd be my David Attenborough. There's a David Bellamy. Now, David Bellamy was the alternative to David Attenborough in England as far as hosting the nature shows. And he talked like this, David. David Bellamy like this, and yeah, right in there. Kind of like that.
Not Craig Bellamy.
Not Craig Bellamy, no. He's a very good manager of Wales, whose compatriot, of course, is our very own Ria Wilkinson, who we'll get to a little bit, who suffered a loss yesterday, but also made history, or at least one of our players made history. But yeah, it's Footy Prime, and it's our Club World Cup edition as well. One podcast today, no games. We had a massive match yesterday, but hey, JC, feel like swinging in some music?
Everybody, join the club. It's the Club World Cup on Footy Prime.
Oh.
Everybody, join the club. It's the Club World Cup on Footy Prime.
Goose.
Everybody, join the club. It's the Club World Cup on Footy Prime.
Drop the deuce.
She's back and she's already making the bar as low as possible.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, welcome back, the Dubs. We did miss you. The numbers suggested that. So did the audience.
Mm-hmm. Actually, they didn't.
No, they didn't. You guys did really, really well without me. Perhaps I should go away more often.
Don't do that. But yeah, the numbers have been very good. So thank you, everybody, for your support.
And make sure you keep listening and watching and subscribing and leaving comments. Great comments, by the way. We love them. We had a little show yesterday, Jimmy, JC, and myself, looking back on the comments regarding Canada and the Kings of CONCACAF conversation. I quite enjoyed that, actually. Or are they just giants? Or insert any other adjective there. Anyway, listen, PSG, pretty good team. Smashed Real Madrid. We saw that on the Zone yesterday, of which you can still get for free. There's one match left. One match, you may as well give it a whirl now if you haven't. It's going to be a great one. PSG against Chelsea on Sunday. PSG smash Real 4-0. Dubs definitive. Is that it? Is PSG the world's best, or does Sunday's final still mean something, do you think?
I think we've seen that it still means something. And then Luis Enrique and his team will want to go and claim that crown as well. But I think even before they smashed Real Madrid, you could make the argument that this was the best team in the world. And I think this platform, this competition, this clash of styles, we've talked about it all tournament long, has been really exciting. I think surprisingly so to a lot of people, but it's allowed teams who are the best in their market, in their respective leagues, with their best players to test themselves against the best in Brazil, the best in, North America wants to insert itself into that conversation. I'm not sure we're ready for it yet, but in all the other continents, in all the best leagues in the world. So that's what makes this tournament compelling, but there's no further argument here. PSG are absolutely the best team in the world.
That's a hot take.
It is not a hot take.
It's
lukewarm. It's lukewarm at best. I was going to say, tepid. Yeah. It's a tepid take.
It's a tepid take. Tepid. Dubs is tepid take.
No, maybe it was her command of the language that was hot. Mm-hmm. Like she owned what she was saying, right? So, and she's been on holiday for the last week, so you didn't know what you were going to get.
She's got plenty of time to think about things to say.
And I'm completely different.
Yeah, you could have been completely different.
The new chill Dubs, after being up to here for so long, doing so many things, a little week getaway, and now you're chill and relaxed and have some real tepid takes. Which you've been like writing down all week, in the outdoors. Oh, that's a good tepid take. That's a good tepid take.
While she's listening, once again, Dubs texted us. because we had joked about her taking notes, and she said, "I kind of did."
Yeah, I can't remember what I had notes on, but I was like, "Oh my god!" Oh no, is when you guys had our friend on from Atlanta.
Oh, Madison.
Madison, and then it was great, and she was talking about the game in Atlanta, and she's talking about the U.S. men's national team and Pochettino and Diego Luna. And it was a terrific conversation, but then she talked about M&As and fingers and pies, and then somebody else said something, and I was like, "What's happening?" And I like rolled my ankle as I was out for a walk. That's like need to send notes, and then as I'm making the notes in my notes app, you guys are making fun of me for listening and taking notes. I was like, accurate.
Well, because you weren't on the show that day, we didn't feel compelled to dig deeper into those pies. And we're obviously less juvenile and more professional. But yeah, back to PSG. I think you're right. But why is it nowadays we have to always, coin the phrase "best in the world" or "best ever"? It used to be they're a great team, or they're the best team in Europe, best team in South America. It seems, and it's not just sports, is it? Now we need to. Hyperbole is such a big part of everything we do. Has to be the greatest. Doesn't have to be the greatest. It can be really good for this time, and I'm quite happy with that. No,
I'm going to come out with a flaming hot take. And sports has always been about who is the best.
Definitive.
Yes, it's always been that argument, and Europe and the rest of the world kind of irritated and being a bit snobby and thumbing their noses at North America, who say the things like world champions when it's only an American league. Right, as it pertains to baseball or other sports, right?
NFL too, football, yeah.
Yeah, but it's always been about that. Once every 4 years, the Olympics, like that is why we watch, right? It's who is the best. So of course there's going to be that argument as it pertains to club football. And it's almost, you're right, like it doesn't always have to be about that. You can just celebrate a team for where they are in this moment of time, and what they're achieving. With this crop of players, with this particular coach in this particular era. But you're always going to compare eras. You're going to compare coaches. You're going to compare if we can drop Ronaldinho or Pele or Maradona into this era. How would they fare? Would they be as good as Messi and Ronaldo, right? We're always going to have those arguments. So, of course, it's about who is the best. And right now, it's PSG.
Yeah, but I don't know. Sorry, I think that's a new thing in the last 20 years, how we have to be, and I think it's because of the Messi, Ronaldo, having both those guys in front of us every week. Literally two players who we can say, are the greatest ever. That's kind of changed narrative, and that's kind of stick. Christian Sinclair, GOAT. This whole GOAT thing with Christian Sinclair. She was one of the greatest footballers to ever play the game. There's no doubt. Is she the greatest ever? I don't know about that. There's a case to be made with a number of players in the women's side of football that were better than Christian Sinclair. But this GOAT, we just love jumping on this thing, Wonger. And I don't know why.
I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with you. I think, like Dubs said, this has always been about who's number one. And now we're just in a place with travel, with time, with scheduling, we're able to find out. And I was a little hesitant about jumping on the Club World Cup bandwagon, thinking the Infantino legacy was being built in front of me. It already has been, and this has been a success. And it's really, I'm excited to see just seeing that Brazil had a team, and that PSG from Liga that gets bashed all the time about their quality after their top 3 or 4. And they may be right, but they have the best team in the world right now. And I think that if I was a Liga player, a Liga club, I'd be like, we're playing against the best team every chance. This is a chance for us to market ourselves against them. It's like when Messi comes from Miami to go play anywhere. This is what every Liga club should be doing with Paris Saint-Germain when they come here. Like, come and play at your stadium. It's shut up.
I was going to say, I can't figure out whether the chorus of birds chirping underneath you making your point is undermining your point or adding to the weight of what you're saying. It's one or the other.
Oh, are you saying? Yes, it's gravitas. I'm trying to be the gravitas.
I think it's a little bit egregious, though, Wonger. Like PSG is not making an argument for any other Liga team fitting into the world standing.
No. I'm not saying they're making it. I'm saying if I were the other clubs in Liga, I would now have an opportunity to market them every time they visited and saying, so an away game for PSG in Lille, all of a sudden it's the world champions. And there's something to be said about how to market that and how to use that in your advantage and even build up the league, amongst that, the top four, as Sharms always says.
Since they won the Champions League, they have elevated themselves to that level where they were always PSG. They were always hated in France because they were a relatively new club that just found money and became relevant. But now that they're doing it a slightly different way, they're spending money, of course they are. But they're doing it as a team. They're getting more respect, I think. And getting that European crown changed everything for them. They are now part of at the front table. They're part of the A-list, along with the biggest clubs in the world. Perhaps they weren't until they won the European Cup. But I think maybe I went a little bit too early with my tepid take. I think if they win, we're going to see if they win on Sunday, you're going to start seeing people saying, are they the best team ever? And that's my point. We don't need to do that. Right. It's always about, okay, who's the best right now? Number one team in the world. I get that player. But we're in this kind of sporting world now, zeitgeist, as Dubs would say, where are they the best of all time? And hasn't happened yet with PSG. But if they win on Sunday, someone's going to write an article about that. I bet you. And I don't like that. Just appreciate them for what they are right now. And that's a team that makes them even more likable because they haven't got Kylian Mbappé playing for them, who's becoming really unlikable. I can't remember a superstar athlete becoming so unlikable so quickly. Can you? He's got all these lawsuits out against his former club now. He should be a legend at PSG and revered there and brought back whenever possible. But he can't now because he's got courtroom dates. He dropped the one this week, extortion. Poor guy. He's been treated so badly. Poor Kylian, Extortion. He was taken into court over. That's been dropped. Now he's still got, I think, lost wages, right, for the last 3 months of his tenure there. He's always fighting and scrapping. He never seems happy. I don't know. I actually feel sorry for him, Dubs.
I don't.
You don't at all?
No. But you're right about he's not reviled, but he's not celebrated in a way that you would expect a guy of his stature, of his standing, of his talent to be celebrated, right? There always seems to be things happening in his wake that are of the negative nature. Instead of elevating everybody around him, it seems to be Kylian Mbappé and everybody else, and it's usually to the detriment of the rest of the group. And I think that's what's unlikable about him, because you see him in front of cameras. He speaks English really well. He speaks French, obviously. I think he even speaks Spanish. Like, he seems to be this guy, like to Wonger's point about how you can push people, superstars, in front of media and really get that kind of aspect of the off the pitch humming along. And you don't really see that, I think, right? To the extent that you see other stars elevated. So it's about what's happening on the pitch, because I think it's very much Kylian Mbappé and his extraordinary talent existing in isolation wherever he goes.
I think he's getting really bad advice. It seems that way, because I think you're right. I mean, he could be owning world football just because he has got charisma. He's got personality. He's smart. Sorry.
I don't think the kids are saying that anymore.
I'm a kid. I'm saying
Fleek.
You say it in your hot tub.
That's right. My jacuzzi.
Riz is something I put on my curry, or under my curry. That's all I know about Riz. Sometimes a stir fry. All varies. But yeah, I mean, he's intelligent. He's a really smart guy. He speaks English beautifully. He's has things to say. Just he's got this noise always around him, constantly. I don't like it. It's like he's getting bad advice. Like, he probably should have left PSG a lot earlier, but he didn't. He wanted money. It seems like that's the main reason. Maybe it's not too late. He's still a pretty young guy. He can redefine who he is in his image, because I think football kind of needs him to be that person.
It's interesting to me, though, because I think that it's a very kind of bipolar approach to players, where they're either, the guy who loves being out there, he's got such joy in his heart when he's playing, and then there's the strategic players who off the field are all about the money. This is a career for them. And that career can take away, I was just watching an Andre Agassi YouTube. He's being interviewed by Andy Roddick on a podcast. And he said, I hated tennis. And I would argue there are so many players who have started in this game, who've reached the pinnacle, that hate the sport, that hate what comes with it. Their personalities aren't made for it, and they're thrown into this spotlight. And I'm a player's voice guy, and unlike you and Dubs, Sharms.
Why must he be so divisive?
Yes, hyperbole.
One or the other. Black.
Yes, exactly. Bifurcation. So but it reminds me of, there was another dude that I remember you were talking about. It was about 6 months ago, but he was a former Prem player, and he just hated football and didn't want to be there. And I always wonder with these superstars who are every single day, the ones who have cushioned themselves, first of all, insulated themselves, because it is a process, to your point about advice and all that, but sometimes not even advice. It's that personality of that player doesn't like any criticism, only likes criticism from certain people, but everyone is a critic now. Everyone has an opinion with social media, and maybe he's on social media and shouldn't be. All of those things can work into whether he's enjoying himself on the pitch. And maybe he's just not one of those personalities who can be breezy off the pitch and take it all in and enjoy himself on the pitch. Maybe he can't.
How many players nowadays could you say play with pure joy? I don't think there's that many. There's so much on them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure most of them say, yeah, I love being a professional footballer, everything it brings me. But my God, the pressures are intense. I mean, we talk about Ronaldinho. You mentioned him, Dubs. That was a player that played with joy.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell he just loved every second of it. Big smile on his face. Even the greatest players in the world. I mean, Messi plays with joy as far as what he does with the ball at his feet. My God, he saw him again last night. 2 more goals.
Mm-hmm.
Can you say he's a player that plays with joy on the pitch? Does Ronaldo play with joy in the pitch when he's flinging his arms up in the air and getting pissed off with his teammates? I don't know. There aren't that many of them.
No, but
maybe we're asking too much.
In contrast to Mbappe, like what they leave in their wake is joyful, right? Yes. Because it's the movement, it's otherworldly, it's impressive, and you're watching them. If you haven't seen it yet, you're about to. So it's what they're giving to the fans as well, right? So that is why we spend money on tickets, our hard-earned money, right? To watch these superstars who we might criticize and say that they're millionaires and they're petulant and, why can't they show X, Y, or Z out on the pitch, but we still pay the money to sit in that stadium to watch because of that promised moment of brilliance. And those are the players that you might see do that. So who is able to do that, to convey that on a nightly basis is somebody like a Messi, right? And Mbappe, of course, that's what you're watching for. But I think the baggage, the weight, I think, of trying to become this superstar that he already is in the way of his talent, but maybe not in the way of the personality, to Wonger's point. I think you see that sometimes in this play.
Yeah, joy comes in different forms, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be about smiling and laughing on the pitch. You still love what you do.
And we can also see this, even in, Canadian tones, Christine Sinclair wasn't she was joyful on the pitch, but it wasn't this, oh, I'm going to go and speak to media and all of, she was very Canadian hockey player,
Mm-hmm.
Hey, great. Mm-hmm. Like that. She was, hey, if I don't have anything, I'm not going to go off the book. She wasn't a Charles Barkley. She wasn't, someone who just said, hey, I'm a Sean Dyche, who, just throws it out there and says, whatever happens, happens. She was very calculated because that wasn't her comfort level. And, when all of these things are happening, I always go, oh, you don't know what's going on with this guy. You don't know where he is. Maybe his girlfriend just broke up with him. Maybe, all of these things that can ruin your time and enjoyment of life if something off the pitch is happening.
Well, when you're that successful, but when you're that successful, there's going to be an element out to get you at all times. There just is, be it financially or otherwise.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we don't know what that's like.
No,
I mean, it's really tragic that is the collateral damage to a brilliant career. No matter how well you manage yourself, there's always someone out there, and who knows what they're going through. I mean, Kylian Mbappé, the young guy, like I said, probably got some pretty bad advice over the years, but man, and he's demanded a lot of money from PSG over the years. But was that him? Was that an agent? Was that someone else? Who the hell knows? But it's easy to suck that joy from a player in just the way professional sports is.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was, thank you. That was my point. That the joy sucking has gotten a lot. I mean, it was always effed up, right? I mean, we see wasn't one of Craig's agents just
he's got done in England for
arrested for section SA and all this kind of stuff. And I mean, it's just one of those things where you're like, there are shitty people who find their ways and are attracted to good people.
They find
the
you.
It is.
I wish we had some of them. It means we're doing well.
I am the bad person.
Oh, you are. That's right.
Yes.
Shit.
You should see our Google numbers this month.
When the memoir comes out.
That's right.
I was strung along by Dan Wong for so long.
That's right. Our Google numbers pay for our StreamYard. So we've got that going for us. We're break even.
Yay.
And you could also tell Dubs was on holiday in the Atlantic provinces because she was like, well, the wake. She said wake 3 times.
Metaphor. You guys did it twice in the wake.
Hey, Dubs, how was your first Halifax game, by the way?
It was great. So I've been to the Wanderers grounds now 3 separate occasions to see 3 different teams. So I saw the Wanderers play, I think in 2022 or 2023. And then I covered the Christine Sinclair, speaking of Christine Sinclair, farewell tour. When they were there, it was a Halloween match a couple of falls ago, like 1.5 years ago. And this is my first Tides match. And I got to meet Jocelyn, the best mascot, I think, going in sports. And it was Jocelyn. It was Jocelyn's
the best. The goat.
The best mascot of all time. You drop Jocelyn in any era and they would beat any mascot. No, but that was tremendous to see. And my sister-in-law, Mary Beth Bowie, who is a legend of kind of East Coast and maritime soccer out there herself, knows a ton of people. So I got to meet Val Malone, the president. I got to meet one of the owners, Courtney Sherlock, and just got to see tons of people. Got to see our very own Carrie Ryan,
nice.
Who was there with her husband, Bill. And like lots of people, I spoke to Mary Beth's daughter, Annie's team, along with Suburban, the team that they were playing against. They play for United.
That's your niece, Mary Beth's daughter.
My niece, Annie. What did I say?
You just said my Mary Beth's daughter, Annie.
Correct. Also my niece.
Yes.
And my niece,
I was trying to put it together. Why
Kaya was there, and my daughter Evie assisted the talk as well. It was kind of just informal after the match. And I was like, put it to the girls after. I'm like, anybody have any questions? And then the questions started to emerge after a little period of hesitation. And then Evie had like 3 questions. I'm like, okay, we don't need to hear from you anymore. He's like, I have another one. Like,
you had to zip it onto your
daughter?
Yeah,
down in front. Yeah.
Were you recognized more as the Amy Walsh, the Canadian Hall of Famer, 100 caps for a country, or Amy Walsh, the broadcaster?
Neither.
Oh.
Not the ex-national team player. Not the broadcaster as being on for NSL games, covering the Tides, etc., or a women's national team, but Footy Prime, the broadcast, and also the podcast.
Brilliant.
So yes, and I was like, we're just here, but people that I didn't know coming up to me, or by way of Mary Beth, being like, huge fan of the broadcast, love what you guys are doing, love Footy Prime, and lots of people just coming out of the woodwork to tell me that, which was lovely.
That's nice to hear.
Yeah,
Footy Prime tattoo doesn't rub off that easy, does it?
What's that?
The Footy Prime tattoo doesn't just rub off.
It's more of a brand.
Yeah, it is a brand now.
It's it. It's just in there. It's
the
kind
pain
of
it
worked
brings
its way
us.
in. Yeah, but Wanderers grounds again, just like a fabulous place to go watch a football match. And the Tides get their
Let me
second
check
win.
something.
They beat Calgary, so they're kind of climbing up from the basement of the NSL table, and they are still at the bottom. They're still in 6th place, but they're closing the gap on the teams in front of them. So what we've seen very much early on, or at least in the first half of this inaugural year, is that there's parity. So the league is doing something right here.
Can I ask, with the Northern Super League moving to Halifax and the Wanderers doing well this year?
Yeah.
Does it feel like a soccer town?
It's always felt like a
I don't know.
soccer town to
Yeah.
me. Yes. Because
That's cool.
you will see, you know, like and Courtney, the owner, was saying, you know, she's like, I can't believe we have this weather. So that was another thing about our trip. Like, we've been going out there. The twins are 11 now. We've been going out every summer for a week since they were 3. We have never gotten a run of great weather the way that we did this past week. So it allowed us to do all of the great maritime things, like go to the beach and like still like you never know when the fog's going to descend. You never know when the weather's going to change on a dime, but we got to do all of that stuff. But I think it's a wonderful sports town. And certainly they've got the infrastructure in place there so that when you're at one of those football matches, whether it's the Wanderers, the Tides, or the national team coming to town, the men's team or the women's team, they do it right. And you've got the fans and the culture to fill those seats and to create a really unique atmosphere.
I'm going to be there for the first time myself in Halifax in August. Not sure.
I'll be there in 2 weeks.
Look at that. All us East Coasters.
Footy Prime descending in Atlantic Canada.
I'm also doing a book signing while I'm there.
Whose book?
My book.
Okay, continue.
Oh, no, I have a book. It's a novel. I didn't write it, but I own it, and I'm just going to sign it.
Oh, okay, so it is your book, but it's not.
I didn't write it. No, but I have a book, and I'm going to own it. I'm going to sign it. I'm going to leave it there.
It's his grade 8 math textbook.
Yeah. Grade 9. Grade 9.
Grade 9.
Are you going to be there in when the Wanderers or Tide are playing? Do you know?
I don't know, but I should, because I'd love to take little Charlie to a game.
Yeah. I
haven't
likes
got things.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that's it.
No, because I haven't got my dates confirmed just yet when I'm in Halifax per se, because we're doing a whole bunch of stuff.
Well, if you're doing a bunch of stuff, Sharms, to get my cottage, set it up. I mean, I will do this off air, but I won't even charge you. Just go.
Hey, now, well, you know, because we did.
If you feel like going up there, yeah.
I've got the. You sent me the package. We'll talk about it off air.
No.
I'm gonna look at it because we are spending a night around in New Brunswick. So.
Oh God,
we're spending 3
in New Brunswick.
Yeah.
So fun.
New Brunswick, and then we're laying Mel's grandparents to rest in Truro,
that's nice.
Nova Scotia.
So fun.
It's nice.
It's a celebration. No, it is a celebration of life. So it's great. Yeah. East Coast style.
Oh, I know those.
I just also wanted to mention that was the first win, the first match in the Stephen Hart era.
Oh, right.
So Lewis Page moves over to develop the pathway, the academy for the Tides. I think that's a role that he's maybe better suited to be at the helm of. And then Hardy, was just great to see him on the touch line and speaking to Erin McLeod after. Went over to her sister Megan's place, lives in Halifax, and got to chat with Erin, which was great because we've seen each other a bunch over the last couple of years, but never had time to really have a proper chat. So it was great to hear from her and talking about Gunny, who is in Switzerland with Iceland for the Women's Euros with Baldwin, their little guy. But Erin just was talking about Hardy in glowing terms and saying is exactly what the team needed.
What a great get.
Also just dropping names, eh? She goes on this holiday and it's like all these famous former Canadian players.
I know.
What a great get, though. You know, that story dropped about Hardy, I think, over the weekend, and we were off. We didn't get to cover it.
It was last week.
We only had a Hardy on a couple of weeks ago. Just a great get for the Tides. This is a proper football coach, and we know he's an amazing dude. And it's great for him to get another professional job in Halifax, where he calls home. I think it's brilliant. Mm-hmm. So very happy for him and for the Tides. Dubs, you got to jump, haven't you?
Yeah,
I do. I gotta go. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We have the putting Dubs on the spot segment. We haven't got time for that. We will get to it probably tomorrow, though. Okay, it's a shorter pod.
We'll
today.
also get to Canadian Championship. We know we haven't talked about it, but we will cover it. We'll get Jimmy back on. Craig is away for a couple of weeks, so we'll kind of soldier on without Craig. But what else are we hitting? Oh, DAZN. We're going to watch the Club World Cup final.
Chelsea against PSG. Yeah, goes
there. It is
on Sunday, and you can get it for free on DAZN. Log on to DAZN.com or upload or download the app and sign up. It's well worth it. It's going to be a fantastic match, and the greatest team of all time will be declared. And whistle. Looking forward to that.
Vancouver and Calgary's. There, a couple of years ago, we saw a Vag goal at the Women's World Cup. There was an ass goal, a prone ass own goal.
Yes, I saw that.
If you have a chance, look for that. We can talk about that for the championship.
By the way, just very quickly, just dropped now. Canada Soccer and FIFA have announced that Canada's men's team have climbed to 28 in the world rankings, which is the highest of all time.
Mm-hmm. You know what else just dropped? Brazil boss Carlo Ancelotti sentenced to 1 year in prison over tax offense.
Wow.
2014 tax offenses.
He's not going to serve a day in prison, is he?
Shouldn't.
Unlikely.
Yeah. Well, he's looking at 4 years. He was looking at 4 years at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. Anyway, that's Footy Prime for another day. Welcome back, Dubs. We missed you.
Welcome back.
Shout out to Ian and Jess Fishlock. So even in defeat, you and kind of alluded to it early on there, Sharms, that's historic again for them. So not only qualifying for the first major tournament, but they get a goal. And it's, I think, poetic that it was Fishlock.
164 caps for Wales. The Seattle Reign player. What a, and I think Rian was talking about post-match and saying just how fitting it is that it's her.
Yeah.
And that she's never seen a player who sacrificed so much for a country. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we're out of time. We've got to go, Dubs. But, hope you enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe, and we'll chat to you tomorrow. Bye.
This was the greatest pod of all time.
Drop it in any era. This wins.
Seriously.
Good to see you guys.
Great to see you.
Yeah.
Drive safe.